Hello, everyone. It is Voice Alchemy with Dr. Kiki. I am so excited to be here with y'all on Soft Power TV. Thank you so much for tuning in this month, the month of August, as we are fundraising for Soft Power, our eventual nonprofit. And I'm just really grateful to be in this space right now to be able to walk us through some really simple but very profound practices that we can do with the voice to open up our throat, to be able to release energy that's in the body that keeps us from speaking our truth, that keeps us from expressing ourselves authentically. And so we'll get into that more later, but I am Dr. Kiki. If you are new to Soft Power or have not been able to catch my offerings in the past, hey, D.M.A. So glad that you are here. I currently am on Peoria and Kickapoo lands in central Illinois, and have been residing here for the last now about 2 years. And I am a voice alchemist. I have a background in choral conducting and choral music. I have my doctorate in choral music, and I earned that from Arizona State University in 2021. But in the last few years have been transitioning and transforming and expanding that training into more of the spiritual, scientific, political aspects of sound, energy, vibration, and frequency. And what I do with one-on-one clients is really helping people tap into their authentic expression through releasing shame around their voice, what I call the soul's unique frequency. And doing that in a lot of different ways through embodiment practices, through spiritual practices, divination modalities. And so this hour that we have together is really my opportunity to share this in a way that you can really access on your own, in a way that's very just safe, and you can do it in your own sanctuary, and you can do it on your own time. It's not something that you have to do with someone like me to facilitate it for you. This is something that can be really personal and be really profound and have deep impacts, no matter when you want to engage in this sort of vocal magic. So I'm really excited that y'all are here. Before we get into kind of the flow of today's show, I do just want to take a moment of silence to remember to send heart energy to the islands, to the Hawaiian Islands, to Maui, to the people who have been affected by the Maui fires. I personally have family that lives in Lahaina, Maui, and they lost their home, they lost vehicles, they lost really, all of their belongings, but like specifically to rebuild right now, they lost a lot of medical supplies and machines that are very expensive. And so you can even see here at the bottom that I am currently doing a fundraiser for my family, for my elders that live on Maui, to support them in any small way that I can. And so I'm collecting donations through my Venmo. You can see there at Kiernan M. Steiner. And I'm also offering all of my offerings through Decolonizing Kiki. 50% of the profits there will also go to that fund as well. So if you want to do any more one-on-one work and go deeper with me, you're welcome to book a session, and I will donate 50% of the profits to that fund as well. Our goal is $3,000, and we've almost hit our first $1,000 mark. So very, very grateful for all of the generosity and the support that we're receiving already. But if you know anyone that may want to support directly to a family in Maui, here's an opportunity for you to share this YouTube link as well as my information here. So I do want to take a moment of silence just to send heart energy and prayers to Maui, the islands, the Aina, as well as their people. And I'm just going to invite you to take 3 deep breaths along with me. Inhaling through the nose and out through the mouth. And again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And one last time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Thank you so much. And now you are tapped into the soft power frequency. All right, y'all, we are going to start with a grounding, with a visualization. We're going to go into some breathing. We'll go into some movement. And throughout this practice, throughout this flow, I'll share, a little bit of information about why we might be doing some of these practices and why it is so powerful in order to access the throat chakra, the voice, and expression. Sometimes I think people may think that wanting to open the throat chakra, it means that you only have to be using the voice and only singing and making sound, when actually there's a lot of steps that come before you ever make sound. Especially in my background, I focus on being very as trauma informed and decolonial as possible. And part of that is just recognizing that it takes time for our bodies to find safety before we even start to make sound. The voice, the way that I understand it and teach it, is that within this colonial existence, our voices, our expression have also been colonized. And to be colonized is to be silenced. And so when you hear people say like, oh, I can't sing, I have a terrible voice, I'm tone deaf. Most people that say they're tone deaf are not. That's just a fact. It's a very rare thing actually to be tone deaf. It is possible, but that isn't something that is that common, not as common as we hear it. And people have this sense that they don't have access to their voice and should not access their voice. And so from my perspective, through that political decolonial lens, I see that as an attack against the people's voice and an attack against our own agency and being able to speak up for what we need and what we desire, whether that is through interpersonal relations, such as setting boundaries and saying no, saying yes when we want to, as well as, on these bigger, larger levels of being able to speak out against injustice and feeling safe in our bodies to be able to do so, and believing that we actually have the power to enact change when we use our voice. So that's really why I am so passionate about helping people access their voice, is because I believe on these very, I don't want to say small levels, but interpersonal levels can have major effects on the more meta aspects of our existence. So let's get into it. We are at about 2:09 over here. I'm in Central Time Zone. And so we're going to start with a grounding practice, and we'll take it step by step, moving through our visualization, our breathing, our movement, until we get to vocalization. So I hope you'll enjoy and take some moments to just Find yourself in a comfy position. And hey, thanks so much for being here. Find yourself in a comfy position, whether that's seated. You can start out by laying down. When we start to sing, I recommend sitting up again, though. So wherever you're at, I invite you to begin to bring the energy back to the body, perhaps closing the eyes or softening the gaze in front of you. Taking a nice deep inhale in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel free to bring any movement into the body just to make any last adjustments so that you're really comfortable in this space and in this moment. Continue to breathe, allowing the belly to fill with air. Exhaling all of the air out. On your next inhale, I invite you to trace the space between your tailbone and the crown of your head. And on the exhale, tracing that space back down from the crown of the head back to the tailbone. Continuing to breathe, tracing that space, the tailbone up through the spine, up to the crown of the head, and back down on the exhale. Clearing and cleansing this vessel of ours with every breath. Knowing that every time we inhale, we inspire ourselves. On the next inhale, I invite you to bring your awareness to your tailbone, to your pelvic floor, where bright white roots are going to begin to form with every breath. And these bright white roots will extend down through the ground, down through the floorboards beneath you, down into the soil, the sand, down, connecting these roots to the other root systems that are already there. Extending your root system with every breath down through the waters below, down through the plates of the earth, down, 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 until you reach the core, the heart of Mother Earth. And you can just allow your root system to hang out here for a moment, to feel into what is on the heart of Mother Earth. I have a feeling that she is frustrated, perhaps angry, because of this neglect that we have collectively forgotten her. And we are reminded of that neglect when we see the wildfires in Maui, the flooding, the tornadoes, these natural disasters happening to us, our families, our extended families, Ohana, our Kapwa, and our human family, as well as the plants and animals that exist and live and steward this land alongside us. At this time, I invite you to share any messages that you have for Mother Earth, whether they be messages of gratitude, of of thankfulness for all that she provides us through the air that we breathe, the water we drink, the food that we eat, or perhaps even sharing an apology for the ways that we've forgotten her, neglected her. That we all have an opportunity to repair and work on our relationship with Mother Earth. Taking a nice deep breath here. And with that root system that you've extended and down into the core of Mother Earth, I invite you to latch on to this core that is life-giving, that has life-sustaining energy always for us. And begin to soak up this energy up through your root system, up through the plates of the earth, up through the waters below, up through the soil and sand, up through your floorboards, and bring this life energy, this life force energy up through the body, starting at the toes, the feet, the ankles, letting this energy relax and rejuvenate every part of the body that it touches. Releasing through the ankles, the calves, the knees, the thighs, and the hips, the fingertips, the wrists, the arms, the elbows, up through the belly, up through the chest and the shoulders and the neck, up through the jaw, releasing the tongue from the roof of the mouth, up through the cheeks, up through the eyebrows, the forehead, and up through the crown of the head. And you can take a nice deep breath here, allowing this energy to surge between the core of Mother Earth, the heart of Mother Earth, and yourself. And when you're ready, I invite you to bring your awareness and attention to your throat space, where your voice lies in the body. And we're just going to take a couple more deep breaths here, focusing on this space. And with every breath that you take, there's going to be a bright light colored blue that starts like a small seed right in your throat space. And with every breath that you take, this seed is going to spin and grow, creating a bright blue light with every breath. And with every breath that you take, this light spins faster and brighter and grows and grows and grows until it envelops your entire body in this bright blue light. Continue to breathe, generating this light and the spinning of the light with your breath. Continuing to breathe and allowing this blue light to spin and enveloping your entire body. You can begin to bring your awareness back into your fingers and toes, bringing movement back into the body, releasing this imagery. Although we remain connected to Mother Earth, and this bright blue light that we've created remains. Take a moment here. There's no rush to open the eyes, but when you're ready to enter your space again, I invite you again to just look at your space around you, connecting with the four walls. Take a look at the textures, the colors, perhaps any smells. If you have a candle burning or incense burning, connect with all of your senses and remind yourself where you are, where your physical body is at. All right, we're going to continue now with just some movement, bringing in more deeper breaths, really oxygenating the body and the brain. That's number one, is just connecting with this breath. And if you're here watching live, I'd love to hear any comments responses you have in the chat, in the comments here. I'm seeing the comments pop up in real time, so feel free to share any of your experiences as we go through these practices, whether it's live or on the replay. Ooh. And if you feel like you want to release through any moans or groans, or yawning, just coming back into the body, stretching and moving really gently. We may not even realize it, but our voice we use to naturally release energy in the body all the time, whether it's laughing or we stub our toe and we say, ow. We use our voice to release energy so that it doesn't stay stuck and stagnant in the body. And so that's just what we're doing here. We're just going to be working with our natural vocalizations to release. And that also works really well when you're doing movement. So right now I'm feeling a little tight, a little tense in my shoulders. Releasing through this through the voice with a moan or a groan or a sigh can be really supportive. Good. And then inviting you to bring the hands, as I was already starting to do, massaging the neck and the shoulders, perhaps massaging the jaw. This muscle right here along the jawline can hold a lot of energy, can become quite tight and tense. Thank you, Jamie, for being here. Felt lots of ancestral power while vocalizing. Yes. And that makes me think of, as we continue to just give our bodies, our face, our cheeks, our neck some touch here. Just to go along with that comment that Jamie shared, so many of our ancestors, I'll speak for my family, they were silenced. It wasn't safe for them to speak out. It wasn't safe for them to use their voice and to really share what they were experiencing, what their emotional bodies were experiencing. They didn't necessarily have the language the same way that we do now of how we share our emotions, how we can, have access to mental health supports through therapy, through spiritual practitioners that can hold space for us. More of our more recent ancestors who have lived through colonization did not have access. And so a lot of what many of us are working through is not just our own personal blocks with our voice, but it's our ancestral blocks that have been, that we've inherited from our ancestors, and through the intergenerational trauma that we hold in our bones. This is the healing work that we can do to help ourselves, to heal our ancestors, and then again, heal our descendants, whether that's biological or chosen descendants, just the next generation, in ways that we can show up for ourselves today is just going to have incredible healing impacts on the people around us and the spirits around us. So we're just going to take one last moment to tap, tap, tap along the forehead, the cheeks, the jaw. Again, this is just about waking up the body, right? A lot of times, in spaces that's really focused on physical movement, on fitness, that sort of thing, we kind of forget about the neck and up. We may do something like this to get the shoulders and neck, but in terms of the energy that we hold in our scalp, in our forehead, this is where we emote a lot of our feelings when we're talking to one another. And that can be really tight, that can hold tension. And so this work right here can be really, really helpful to add into a daily practice in connecting with your voice and your body. Okay. All right. So feel free to just continue to move as you would like to. As I take a sip of water here. And I'm just feeling called to pull a card here. Something that I incorporate in all of my offerings are tarot and oracle card readings, just depending on whatever is, being brought up into the space. I really believe in this connection, not only to our physical audible voice, but our inner voice. And when I started learning and studying tarot, it really helped me connect to my inner voice and to my intuition, and to be able to trust that intuition, trust that voice inside that was really my compass of, telling me which and where to go in each of my movements, each day, each week, and helped me really find clarity in my vision for myself and how I wanted to live my life and where I wanted to live my life and who I wanted to have in my life, right? And so cards have just been really important to that practice and journey for me as well. So let me just take a moment here, shuffling. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I have this card. Okay, you can see it even with the filter on the back. So I'll hold it back here. The words at the bottom say, honestly assess. Honestly assess. And if you can't quite make out what it is, it's somebody like sitting here on maybe perhaps like a mountain, a hilltop, a cliff, even like a rock cliff, and looking out at the town below, the city below. You can see kind of the grids of the city. And there's lights, and you can see perhaps traffic and buildings. At least that's how I'm seeing it, is kind of looking down as if you are looking down over a city, except it's like not just a city. It's almost like looking at the matrix, at this reality that we live in. And having this, again, what's so beautiful about this card is we started our meditation with creating this blue light that surrounds us, right? This blue light that's representing our throat chakra, that's representing our expression and opening up this space. I think it's just really wonderful that this card came to us today, representing what we've already started to do. And so if you need a visual illustration of what that might be, here is a great example of what we were kind of imagining, what I was imagining in my head. So let's see what the guidebook has to say. You know, I definitely think honestly assess, it's like having clarity, having the wisdom and connecting deeply to the land as well as to spirit and the cosmos to be able to see through the bullshit that's like in our reality. Yeah, and it looks exactly like my background. So I'm just so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm seeing the comments here, feeling so seen and held, feeling people saying they really needed this right now, that this is really powerful. Thank you so much for being here and just affirming that this work, this practice is really needed. Even, you know, for people like me who, you know, for the longest time identified as just a singer, this is something I need in my life. Daily, weekly. So just a little bit from the guidebook. It's a really long reading. I'll just kind of summarize what it says here. It says, this situation calls for examination and review. Take a step back and honestly assess how far you've come, where you are now, and where you'd like to be. Bravely look within to discover what can be improved or refined. On a spiritual and emotional level, identify what pulls you out of loving presence. What inner pain, struggles, or limiting beliefs can you now recognize, release, and transmute into love? Pay special attention to emotions such as jealousy, judgment, guilt, or feeling closed off from your emotional flow. Okay, let's see if there's anything else here. This is a card of self-reflection, self-evaluation, and self-improvement. Once you lovingly notice what is asking to be acknowledged, you will be well along your way. So I love this card. I think this is beautiful, especially as it was calling us to acknowledge some of these maybe lower vibrational energies like guilt and shame and jealousy, and how we can transmute that into love. Because I think the voice is one of the most beautiful ways to do that. I think sometimes transmutation, alchemy can sound really abstract and really like out there. Like, how do you actually do that? And I think when we are able to engage in a really safe singing practice, and we can engage with that part of us where we can freely express ourselves, it to me is one of the more easier ways to sense this kind of alchemizing our pain into pleasure and to love. So let's get into it. Let's really get into it. We have about another half an hour here together. So this will be really great for us to just do a little bit more with the voice and connect a little bit deeper with this medicine that is here in sound frequency and vibration. So with that being said, let's just take a moment again to just breathe and reground the body. And the very first thing that we're going to do is what we call vocal toning. We're going to start by just saying simple syllables and vowel sounds. And we're going to send this energy through the body. Hello, Ella. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to now start with the vowel the most beautiful sounding that you can. And we're going to start with this We're going to inhale a nice deep breath, exhale onto this long sustained tone that I will model for us. And we're going to do that 3 times. And this we're going to send down through the body. So from the voice, down through the body, down through our legs and our feet. Or if your bottom is touching the ground, or your sits bones are touching the ground or the seat below you, send it through there. And we're just going to ground the body even more with the sound energy. So it's going to go like this. And feel free to join me when you're ready. So we're going to inhale and release on We'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling, grounding yourself. And one last time. Inhaling deeply. All right, feel free to just take a nice breath and just kind of come back to your normal breathing pattern. And just kind of notice what you feel in the body after repeating that 3 times. You know, what sensations are you feeling? Were there any emotions that were brought up? Did you connect with any part of your body that perhaps you hadn't noticed yet today? All right, and the next vowel sound that we're going to work with is ah. So it's a little bit brighter. Instead of the it's ah. And we're going to focus right here in the heart space. And so you're welcome to, while you're working with this, either place your hands on your heart or even extending your arms to the side. You can't really see that here, but my arms are like they're open for an embrace, and opening the body, opening the heart, so that we can not only feel this space opening, but it also invites us to receive. And so a lot of us, to talk about receiving financial support, receiving emotional support. Sometimes we want it so badly, but we're so blocked and we're so protective of our heart that it just won't come in. And so by doing a practice like this, it allows us to open the heart space, practice being in this vulnerable position, and then allowing not only for us to be open to it, but allowing that energy, those supportive energies, to flow through us and to come to us as well. So yes, wonderful. We are feeling maybe like a heavier, more grounded lower body, and so that we aren't so just kind of floating in the air. And so now that we have that groundedness, we're opening the heart with an ah. All right, we're going to inhale here. Great. One more time. And again. Again, just allowing us to come back to our normal breathing patterns, noticing any changes in the body, any sensations, any emotions that might have come up. And I do want to point out, this exercise is not about creating necessarily the most beautiful tone, but a very resonant and embodied sound. And so as you're hearing me right now release and express, I'm not focusing on the type of sound that I'm releasing. I'm focusing on where this energy is escaping from my body and where I'm sending this energy out from my body. So I'm not trying to perform any sort of particular sound, which is something that is very different than my background and the education that I received for 10 plus years in academia. That stuff was all about making a beautiful sound. And it was always about thinking about what kind of technique I was using. Here, we're not so worried about that. Of course, we want to make sure that we're using a healthy production with the voice so we aren't damaging anything. However, we're just more concerned about where that energy is being focused and released from. Okay. So if you'd like to, feel free to put any comments, responses in the comments. I love seeing how people are reacting and engaging with this kind of sound frequency. We're going to do one last vowel sound as we vocal tone, and we're going to send this E sound through the crown of our head. Okay, so through the crown, imagine yourself as if you are the monarchy of your body, the monarchy of your home. And we're going to send this sound energy through the head. And so this can be really helpful in a really practical way. If you, have any tension, tightness, even a headache. Of course, some headaches sound is not the best thing for it. But if you're just feeling tightness there and you want to try and use sound to relieve that, this can be a really accessible way to relieve some of that tension. So inhaling here and exhaling on an E, on a higher pitch. Again, inhaling here. Noticing I'm even doing a little movement just to make sure that I have, I'm not creating any more tension in the body. We'll do that one more time. Inhaling here. Good. And feel free to come back to your normal breathing pattern. Bring any motion, movement into the body just to keep that, again, that energy flowing through the body. And just take notice of anything that might have shifted, changed, any sensations that might have come up. Perhaps you notice with the different vowel sounds, you were feeling vibrations differently, even within your mouth space, in your tongue, in the throat. The lower pitches tend to vibrate much lower in the body. You might even feel that in your chest and even lower. And then the higher pitch that we just ended on would vibrate more here into your head. And so, we use sound frequency, vibration, and sound all the time, even in our traditional medical Western doctor type, ways of receiving care that way. For instance, I was doing physical therapy for my wrists earlier this year because I have a 9-month-old at home and I was doing a lot of lifting this way. And so these joints and tendons got very loose and needed some strengthening. And so for 6 weeks, I was receiving ultrasound therapy on my wrists. And that means that it was a wand that had crystals at the end, and it was sounding ultrasound, so you couldn't hear it, but sound frequency through the wand into my wrist and my joints, and all of this stuff here was just being rubbed on for like 8 minutes at a time. And that sound was just moving the cells around in my body so that it would encourage the healing of those cells. And so I asked my my therapist, my physical therapist, if they'd ever done a sound bath, or if they've ever experienced crystal bowls, and they had no idea what I was talking about. But here they are, like basically using a mini sound bowl on my wrist to help heal my hands. And so it's just really interesting to me how, you know, sometimes we can just get so kind of locked into our perspective, our reality of something. You know, obviously ultrasounds are also used for pregnancy, and you know, all of that sort of thing. We're very used to using those types of words, but we forget what's actually occurring here. We are using sound waves to be able to heal the body, to see into the body. And so using and creating sounds with our voice is just that powerful too. And so sometimes we need to reframe that, or like have another perspective to bring that in, that yeah, sound waves are being used all the time for healing. Whether or not people consider it to be magical or not, you know, that's up to you to decide. I tend to land in the more, wow, this is real magic that we're working with. So all right, here, where are we at? We have a few more minutes left. So I'd also love to hear, if anyone is here watching live, if you have any questions that come up, feel free to put those in the chat. I'd be happy to address any questions in our final moments here. But I'd like to share another song here with us. And we're gonna engage with it in a few different ways. Many of you might have sung this with me already. I have my ukulele here. But this song is called I Am Light. It's by India.Arie. We're not going to sing the whole song. We're just going to use the chorus basically as our own chant, our own mantra. Our mantra just meaning that we're charging these words, this vibration, with a spiritual force for the effect of healing. And so the only words that you need to know are I am light, I am light. And we're going to sing it over and over again. And I'm going to lead us through it first as we would normally sing it. And then I'm going to invite people to kind of lightly sing it, more like a whisper almost. And then I'm going to continue playing ukulele, but we're just going to sing it mentally in our minds. And then when we're done with that, we're just going to do one more round. But we're just going to let this energy, this frequency that we create, kind of just be released into the ether. So, yes, absolutely. At the very end, I will bring back the reading from the card, and I will post that on my stories as well. You can follow me on Instagram, decolonizing_Kiki. Oh, I see I have a typo there on my name here, but it's DECOLONIZING. Decolonizing Kiki on IG. I'll share the full reading on my stories there. So here we go, y'all. We're going to sing I Am Light. This song is by India.Arie, and it goes like this. Join me however you'd like. Sing, hum, improvise. I am light, I am light. 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 I'll do that again. I am light, I am light. 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 Again, and I am light, I am light. I am light, I am again. I am light, I am light. 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 Try a whisper singing it. I am light, I am light. Connect with the meaning. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. Same thing again. I am light, I am light. 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 Last time. I am light, I am light. 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 Sing it in your head. In your head again. One more time. And one more time, just allowing this energy to flow through the ether, not having to do much energy here. Just let this energy flow from your vessel. Continue to let it flow. I'd love to hear how that practice feels in your body, how that sensation changed perhaps from singing out loud to singing a little softer to singing just in your mind, and then just allowing that energy to flow without even having to make sound. Really curious if anyone felt any sensations, emotions, energies, or had any different experience with that. Just looking at the comments here. Ella said, going from to E really helped me feel the difference in where they were in my body. Like I really rattled my own head at the end. Yeah. It's really beautiful that we can feel these different vibrations in different parts of our body and realize, how powerful our voice is. Our voice is just, really these two small muscles in our throat here. They're very, very delicate, which is why we have to be so careful with them sometimes, because we have, we've all, I'm sure, have all experienced, some sort of like laryngitis or something where we've lost our voice or maybe overused our voice, screaming at a concert, screaming at a sporting event. And for me, whenever I lose my voice, it's like one of the most vulnerable feelings that I have. And so these little muscles, they need a lot of care and love, and yet also they are so powerful because they can help us move energy in our body, because we're creating and initiating sound energy that didn't exist until we just took an inhale. So I see some more comments here. I'm just going to read through. We have new experience. Jamie, I think that's Jamie still. Let me just double check. Yes. Said brought up a lot of emotions at the beginning and felt it and released and felt lighter towards the end. Beautiful. Yes, singing can bring up so many different emotions, so many different energies. And sometimes even when I get so emotional, my voice wants to just shut off. It's like I have to work really hard to like get through that. And I think that's what's so amazing about the voice. It really moves things. Midori said, gosh, I feel like I transmuted so much energy. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. I am just so honored to be a part of this community, y'all. Like, this is to be seen and to be, really for this acknowledgement around like sound energy as medicine, and being able to share that with the soft power community. It's such a privilege. It's such an honor to be in this position that I am now, because just really for a long time, I thought I had to just change my whole life. I was really ashamed of all of the time that I spent learning about the voice. And it took me a while to, for spirit and my ancestors to guide me back to like, no, there's real medicine here. There's real, ancient wisdom here that is needed. We need to remember. It's been taken away from us. And so I'm so grateful that y'all were here with me for this hour to experiment, to explore, to be gentle with ourselves, to really just nurture this relationship that we have with our bodies, our voices, our souls. It's so cool. So before I leave, just a reminder, I will put the reading of this in my Instagram stories so y'all can read through it more specifically. If you have any questions or things that arise in the, as you go on along your day or this week, please feel free to DM me on Instagram, to reach out, start a conversation. I'm happy to support you in those moments. And then also, if you are interested in going deeper with me, I have one-on-one sessions. I'm offering voice lessons. I'm also offering high vibe energy healing sessions. That's more about balancing the energetic centers and clearing and cleansing. I also have, of course, just tarot and oracle card readings, as well as one-on-one voice activation. So more of the work that we were just doing now, so that you can alchemize and transmute with your voice. in your own rituals and along your own journey as you need to. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Please share the YouTube link with your friends, your family, your comrades and kin, sharing not only this fundraiser that I have here going for my family, but also our grassroots fundraiser for soft power. Any amount, $1, $5, $10 will support and help us so much. So getting the word out there about soft power and what we're trying to do here in offering accessible but also creative healing community opportunities is really what we need your help with, is just getting the word out there. And I think they'll experience the medicine themselves. So much love to you all. Take care. Mwah.